Oh boy, this is a big one. What's up, you guys? HMK once again with a huge development of Kingdom Hearts from Union Cross spilling over to Kingdom Hearts 3. Now, over in Japan, Kingdom Hearts Union Cross has updated more story elements dealing with Enchanted Dominion and Maleficent, more specifically when Maleficent loses her battle as shown in Sleeping Beauty and in the world. Before I get into it, big shout out to Kingdom Hearts Insider and Gold Panther for translating these lines because of course this is in the Japanese version of Kingdom Hearts Union Cross. And don't worry if these translations seem kind of off to you because 9 times out of 10 they're always on the money when it comes to these translations. Now this scene is a bit on the long side. It clocks into around 4.5 minutes, so I'm going to leave a link in the description box for you to see the scene yourself, but I'm going to paraphrase what's shown here. In this scene, Maleficent is furious that she's unable to rewrite her defeat, but then an entity appears knowing that Maleficent is from the future and introduces itself as Darkness. That's vague, and tells Maleficent that they knew of her plans to rewrite her defeat and eventually go for the Princess of Heart, and why it failed. As it turns out, Maleficent is trapped in a dated version of Enchanted Dominion that she traveled back to. Not only Darkness once again confirms the means of time travel in the Kingdom Hearts series, where you must leave your body behind and that a version of yourself must exist at the destination in the past, they also explain that since the Keyblade War commenced and the Master of Masters along with the Foretells disappeared, it was no longer possible to create worlds using the Book of Prophecies, and that the worlds were created using data in advance to compensate with this common predicament. Interestingly enough, Darkness also brings up the time where Maleficent was stabbed by Dark Riku in Kingdom Hearts 1, saying that her idea to travel back in time came from that moment, and that she had dealings with Master Xehanort, who told her how to travel back in time from the time of birth by sleep. The scene caps off with Maleficent asking if her being trapped was the plan all along, but that will be a problem for Darkness along with her knowledge of the future, so she needs to go back to her original time. And despite thinking that there's no way to travel forward in time, Darkness says there actually is a way. Okay. Now the big kicker is that not only are we going to try and figure out why this scene is even a thing, but who the Darkness is. And I've got a ironclad idea on who it is. However, I do want to bring up a very cool idea that was presented by the user named Roboloid that suggests that the Darkness is thanks to specific wording and the cleaned up downloaded silhouette of who killed Strelitzia and matching it up with Lauriam's figure. Now there's a great thought considering the use of physical evidence, but I believe it's gonna be a different take, especially when you look at that neck. I mean, that's a fat neck. Now I believe with 88% certainty, that's an HMK almost guarantee, that the shadowy Darkness figure is Luxu. Now wait, before you're like, oh, but everyone's saying it's Luxu. Here's the huge amount of reasoning tied into why it's Luxu. Now we're going to go into 4 major points, people, on why it's Luxu, why Xehanort needed Maleficent there, why it's connected to the story, and the end game connection tying everything together. Keep up, it's going to blow your mind. Okay, now on why it's Luxu, points. He refers to the Master, which undoubtedly is the Master of Masters because he also talks about the Foretellers, but not the 6th, as he is outside of that group and the only one presumably to survive the Keyblade War, so of course he's not going to bring up himself when he's talking about the others. He holds the no-name Keyblade, the Keyblade with the gazing eye that sees into the future, thus being the only living entity to actually know that not only Maleficent is from the future, but is able to recall the events tied to Riku and is even able to specify the means to travel back in time. He has intimate knowledge of the Book of Prophecies, the fallout of the Keyblade War, and the fact that the worlds are now made up of data. Luxu is the only living person that can know all of that. Oh, but there's gotta be more. But now let's talk about why Xehanort needed Maleficent there. Easy. As a seeker of knowledge, Xehanort told her the means in order to travel through time, knowing that she would try to rewrite events that are destined to happen, but would fail. As the real reason why Xehanort will want Maleficent to go back in time was to use her to gain information from a time that he could not enter himself, as in order to travel back in time, you would need a version of yourself that already existed in the past. Xehanort's self did not extend that far back in time surrounding the Keyblade War, but Maleficent's apparently did, and he could use that evil fairy once again to gain certain knowledge from the Keyblade War. What knowledge, you ask? Well, we'll get to that. Now on why it's all connected. Here's the big point. This isn't some random tie-in event. This was preordained, as we've seen in the additional secret movie in the 2.5 release of Kingdom Hearts Recoded. Maleficent states that her time in the datascape seemed familiar, and then she went on to talk about the Book of Prophecies. That seems super random, right? Well, not anymore, as her knowledge of the concept of data-built worlds and the Book of Prophecies came from this moment in Kingdom Hearts Union Cross. So we now know that Maleficent's encounter with the darkness happened before Recoded, which could probably mean that her going back in time actually happened after her defeat in Kingdom Hearts 1, and that her return from that time was how she came back in Kingdom Hearts 2. Now here's the huge endgame connection, people. The huge tie into everything in this, connecting Kingdom Hearts Union Cross to Kingdom Hearts and Kingdom Hearts 3. And why is this so important is that, along with the fact that this guy is Luxu, is because this right here, people, is the moment that Maleficent will more than likely learn of the existence of the black box, as we know that Maleficent and Pete are looking for it in Kingdom Hearts 3, and the only people that knew of the black box's existence are the Master of Masters and Luxu. And the fact that we got the idea out of the way, that since this entity is referring to the foretellers and the Master, then it has to be Luxu. Luxu told her the existence of the black box and probably hinted that it had tremendous power. And this knowledge, the knowledge of the black box, is probably the catalyst reasoning to Maleficent wanting the world's data in Dream Drop Distance, so that she could safely search for clues for the black box among the data of all of the worlds. And that the knowledge of the box spilled over to Xehanort, because we now know that the organization is looking for the black box, which is what Xehanort wanted and probably what Luxu intended. But how will she get back to the future? Well, that's the next mystery, my friends. But this is the case in point on why I think the darkness is Luxu, because everything ties together from this pivotal meeting. Maleficent's knowledge of the Book of Prophecies and data came from this meeting that she uses in Recoded. The fact that the darkness knew intimate moments of Maleficent's future means it only could have been Luxu, thanks to the Keyblade having the gazing eye. And the reason why Maleficent is looking for the black box is because Luxu, the only person other than the Master of Masters, knew it existed. Did I blow your minds? Guys, please share this up with your Kingdom Hearts Legions and let me know what you think about this massive theory on the newest update to Kingdom Hearts Union Cross and how it connects to Kingdom Hearts 3. Until the next Kingdom Hearts video, please be sure to like, favorite, and most importantly, subscribe to HMK for more Kingdom Hearts videos, and check out my Patreon and consider sponsoring me here on YouTube. Until the next video, I've been HMK, and I'll check you guys later.
So you haven't subscribed to HMK yet? Don't piss Xemnas off.